he averaged this season?
Let's see.
So in the playoffs, he was 32.
I think he averaged
5 and 5.
So
And what did he average in the regular season?
26, 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So listen, I feel like Donovan Mitchell already has. I think he already has most of the traits of a superstar. I just think it's his team success, and which is the reason why he hasn't got over the hump yet. And I feel like whoever, looking at Devin Booker, looking at Trae Young, I feel like whoever gets over the hump before him will be considered that before he will, because it's all on the team success and not actually what he's putting up. So that's my opinion. I think he has everything, most of it that he.
So he's a superstar to you?
For the most part, I think he is already.
Why isn't that solidified? Like, it should be certain and guaranteed.
Well, I think because it's hard to say. Like, for example, this year, had he not gotten injured, I think I would have been able to say wholeheartedly that he is that guy. But at the end of the day, I mean, you could say he is, but like I said, it's kind of hard to give him that stamp until his team get over the hump. But I feel like it's not his fault. I mean, you got to look at and that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not a fan of Ben or look at Rudy Gobert. Like, come on.
Look at the defensive player of the year. Like, what about?
Oh,
3 times.
I'm just asking.
But
Go ahead.
Undeservingly. But anyway.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying that on that one,
Go
especially this season. But anyway, so back to Donovan. So he is not considered a superstar yet, because there's 2 ways you become a superstar. Either you come into the league and you're already blown up, or you make that in the postseason. Now, in the postseason, yes, his individual performances, especially last year and this year, have been outstanding superstar status. But a superstar has to be able to get their team over the hump. We can come up with any excuse in the world. Injured, yes.
What's the hump?
Winning at least the conference finals, especially if you were the #1 seed in the whole NBA.
So question. So when did Joel Embiid and this is not an argument, I'm just asking questions, like, when did Joel Embiid to y'all make his mark as a superstar? Because he hasn't made it to the finals yet, so when did he do?
Well, she said
she said win the Eastern Conference Finals.
I thought she said
No, I said when you make it.
When you make it. Okay, so
at least that's the minimum.
I would say about 3, maybe 4 years ago for Embiid. 3 for sure, but maybe 4 years ago. This year was apparent. Like, there was no.
And when do y'all think Jokic did his last year?
Yeah, for sure. Last year, yeah.
So was Jamaal Murray considered a superstar?
No.
Why?
Because he had the playoff performance and that was it. He didn't. That was not the Jamaal Murray we saw in the regular season. He had great spurts, great shooting performances, great facilitating performance. He never put all of that together. And here's my thing about Donovan Mitchell: why I would have considered last year Jamaal Murray to be closer to a superstar at that point, because Donovan Mitchell, you're gonna get 2 closing games out of him from each series, and then he's not going to be able to close anymore. Donovan Mitchell literally went up 2-0 and then turned it into, I'm going to do this for 4 quarters and not just the fourth quarter.
So why do y'all think Utah hasn't made it? Y'all think it's him, or do y'all think
Mitchell, for sure. Donovan Mitchell, for sure.
What about you?
I don't think it's Donovan Mitchell. I can't, because again, he's also young and he also needs to learn how to win. So last year, we take it back to last year, they blew the 3-1 lead. This year he came back, he was like, that stung, we still feel it. Okay, you come out, you perform, you're doing what you're supposed to do every game. Okay, boom, he ready. Then y'all win 2 games and lose 4 in a row.
Now, he did get injured.
He was injured. He was
clearly injured from the time
he still put up 32, 5 and 5.
But he's still. I'm saying, listen, he could have put up more on it because he wasn't but even that. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what
other players had to. So here's my argument.
That's why he's not a superstar.
So we did an episode about Rudy Gobert and
Do y'all think he's superstar caliber?
Yes.
No.
And why is that?
Again, can you get them over that hump? You gave up a 3-1 last year. Wait, you gave up 3-1 last year and a 2-0 this year. So how are you a superstar? What superstar does that? Okay,
potential, right?
No.
Yes, potential.
This is what I said. I said that Donovan Mitchell, he has most of it. Let me read. I said he has most of it. I said I feel like had they done it this year, he could have been that. But me personally, I don't think that similar. I think Utah and Philly have very, very similar situations. The only thing is that Joel Embiid is already considered a superstar and Donovan Mitchell isn't. My thing is this. Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, they don't work together. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, they don't work together.
You can't tell me
I think that Rudy and yes, it does.
They were the number 1 seed in the NBA West and the number 1 seed in the East. They've been to the playoffs every single year they played together.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that, look, why are they always the weakest link come to playoff time? Like, I'm not always, and listen.
I'm being honest. I put Utah on Quinn Snyder, too. On a couple of those games, I thought it Quinn Snyder.
I won't argue. Earlier, we talked about Ben Simmons, Doc Rivers, and all that other stuff. I get it. But a lot of that blame does go on Embiid as well. One of y'all said that earlier, like he's not really just the solidified leader.
Here's my thing. What I'm starting to hear, it's more so every time these guys don't get over the hump, instead of looking at the weakest link, it's always the coach's fault. Because hold on, let me finish. With this Philly thing, Ben Simmons and Rudy Gobert, both guys are lacking in an department, which everybody's talking about, and everybody's saying pretty much that until they get their offense right and everything else right, they're gonna continue to be in second round, third round exit, whatever. So when you look at Philly, it's Ben Simmons. He took 4 shots, okay? Can't score for crap, can't make free throws for crap. Now you look at Rudy Gobert. He's strictly defense and has no offensive bag. And y'all expect these guys to get over the hump with players like this, and then y'all say, hey, it's the coach's fault. Even though, like, I'm not gonna buy that.
Well, listen to this too. Listen to this too.
I'm not gonna buy that.
When y'all asked who was it that Utah lost, I said Donovan Mitchell. Quinn Snyder is something to blame. Rudy Gobert is something to blame. But they no question lost because of Donovan Mitchell. You're going to have to do more than score. I've been saying this for 2 years now. Just because if you drop 26-5-5 in the regular season and then drop 32-5-5 in the playoffs, what did you do?
I'm not gonna put the blame solely on Donovan Mitchell.
Oh yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, when Rudy Gobert didn't even do what he's supposed to do, defensively.
Stop. So that's where Quinn Snyder comes in. Rudy Gobert is going to do what Rudy Gobert did his job. What happened was Tyronn Lue switched to a smaller lineup. Same way they did the last 3 games.
Now that is true. Okay. Now that is somebody who should have made adjustments.
Okay,
I will say that.
So here's my thing. Rudy Gobert did everything in his ability. He's not supposed to stop everybody on the court. He's supposed to be a rim protector.
Right.
That's exactly what he was. But guess what? When the tallest man on the court is Paul George or Nicholas Batum, now you have to step out to the rim.
They even play with that lineup with Morris.
That's and instead
so
now you have to step out.
I just feel like
so at the end of the day,
at these stats.
You say what?
I'm just gonna look at these stats.
When you look at the stats and you see Rudy Gobert probably averaged like 12 and 12 maybe for this last playoff series, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Nobody ever asked Rudy to put up 20 rebounds. Nobody ever asked him to put up 20 points. What's funny to me is that you have the audacity to call out Rudy Gobert, but say, oh, Donovan Mitchell is steps away or borderline superstar. How?
I said
superstar. Listen, if you are even debatedly a superstar, you get your team over the hump. You do more than just score. You contribute. You laughed at Paul George's performance earlier.
Now, but that's what I just said. He has other things in his back to work on. For example, playmaking, rebound. I think that can be better. I'm looking at that right now. He had 30 points, and I said he's almost there. But I think, listen, there are certain people that average, like for example, Russell Westbrook, he averaged triple-double dang near every season. Damian Lillard does not do that. But because he's so good at what he does, he doesn't contribute as much as Russ does, rebounding wise or playmaking wise or assisting wise. He don't do that like the same thing as Russ does. But at the end of the day, he still gets his team over the hump in certain situations. Now, if you look at Rudy Gobert or Donovan Mitchell, whoever, he not average triple double. But at the end of the day, he has to get his team over the hump. So all I'm saying is this: if he would have got his team over the hump, all that crap would have been excused. That's what I'm saying. It's not about does Donovan Mitchell, does it match? I'm talking about had he done it, it would have. And that's why I said he's still borderline, because he almost did it. That's all I'm saying.
Well listen.
Had he not gotten healthy, he could have did it.
I can't say.
I mean, not about that part.
I know. I do. I believe that, because the Clippers, they really benefit off of him being injured. And if you
but this was without Kawhi. You got closed out without Kawhi.
But listen, if you look at his box score, he wasn't efficient. Correct. He had a lot of points, but he wasn't efficient. And had he been healthy, he could have had another efficient game and closed him out. But he was injured. It's just, and listen. the playoffs are all about health. Who is the healthiest? So like I said before, I'm not going to pin this all on Don because there's more factors. It's easy to do that. Yeah, you can say, oh, it's his fault. That's easier. But the playoffs are very, very complex. Coaching is involved. Health is involved. Role players, defense, rebound, all of that.
So let me shed some black and white on this complexity then. You told me Paul George was a pretender. He's way off P, not playoff
I said
P.
he was a fraud.
Okay, you said he's a fraud. What is Donovan Mitchell then?
Well, listen, is Paul George healthy?
Kawhi wasn't, and Paul George was asked to then be the Kawhi, and he stepped up and beat Donovan Mitchell.
Paul George, he was healthy. He'll be healthy and have freaking 31 one game and had freaking 7 points in the freaking closeout game.
You just told me Donovan Mitchell was the number 1 player on his team.
Yes.
Paul George was the number 2 player who stepped up to play a number 1 position and beat Donovan Mitchell.
Okay, that's cool.
That's not cool. But
I'm not talking about when I speak on Paul George, I'm speaking about on Paul George in his entirety in his career. I'm not talking about Paul George this year. I'm talking about Paul George in his entirety.
So what is Donovan Mitchell then? Is he consistent?
Listen.
Taking L's? Yes.
But listen, look at his percentage. He's still efficient. All I'm saying is this. When we look at Donovan Mitchell, most of the time, you know what you're going to give. You don't know what you're going to give Paul George. You don't know. You never know.
And that has gotten him to multiple conference finals.
Come on, fam.
That has gotten him to multiple conference finals. Where has consistency got Donovan Mitchell? Is giving up a 3-1 lead last year
you cannot ignore these huge things that I'm telling you. You cannot ignore them.
I'm not ignoring them.
Like you can't just say, hey, he's been to conference finals. You got to shave it over. Like
okay,
no.
Let's agree on this then. At the age that Donovan Mitchell was, Paul George was facing LeBron in Game 7s in the conference finals.
That is true.
Okay,
that's when he was playoff P. That's when he was like that.
I'm saying, let's say that he was inconsistent then and he's inconsistent now.
He's not.
I'm saying I've seen Paul George jump conferences and go to the conference finals. I cannot say that about Donovan Mitchell. I can say that I've seen Donovan Mitchell give up a 3-1 lead and a 2-0 lead.
But Paul George ain't the same player in my opinion. Everybody.
Now that I think about it,
he's not the same player.
The last 4 years Utah's been in the second round.
Do you think that Paul George is the same player he was in Indiana?
Oh, he's not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to talk about what he did. What has he done since he left Indiana? With OKC, he choked. With the Clippers last year, he scored 8 points in the he choked like
and
he
Donovan
just
Mitchell
choked.
has choked the last 2 seasons.
Okay, so how did he choke? Like I said before,
he gave up a 3-1.
But what I'm saying, at least he was reliable scoring wise. That's all I'm talking about. Being reliable scoring wise. If he had
so JJ Redick.
If he had 30 points on 45% shooting or whatever, then he tried, he did what he could, boom, 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 boom. Now, I cannot pull all those games and say, hey, he should have rebounded. I can't remember those games. I'm looking at his stats and I'm saying, okay, he had these points, cool. When you look at Paul George sometimes, when you look at it and try to prove an argument for him, you'll look and be like, dang, that man had 20 points on 26% shooting. I'm not going to apply that.
One thing that you have proven, as long as somebody efficiently scores, you're okay with that.
No, I'm not, because I just said
you just knocked Ben Simmons for 2 episodes because his inability to score. But you're telling me that as long as Donovan Mitchell scores efficiently, you're not going to say anything else about his game.
No, but like I said before, I said that I just said Don needs to work on more stuff. But at the end of the day, what he's doing has still got his team to
blowing leads.
Was he injured last season? Yes or no?
Sit down then.
Thank you.
Okay. So I guess LeBron and AD should have just said
yes.
No question.
What help does Donovan Mitchell need?
He needs listen, at the end of the day.
Didn't he have 6 men a year?
6 men a year.
Listen, you just asked a question, so let me answer it for you. Thank you very much.
She wanted him to play with the MVP too.
No, it's not about that.
Seriously, what they need.
Didn't Quinn Snyder get coach of the year when he was
They need more scoring in Rudy Gobert's position.
Oh my God. So they have 4 or 5 players to average double digits, but now Rudy Gobert has to score more points.
Yep.
That makes no sense.
Yes.
Defensive player of the year, the 6th man of the year.
He's overrated.
The highest.
You just said he was overrated. Don't do that.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
Overrated by doing what? He is supposed to be a rim protector and rebound. He does that to perfection.
And got cooked.
He got cooked. Yes, he got cooked by having to step out.
But I thought he did it to perfection.
He guards the rim to perfection. Yes.
Oh well, they need better. They need better. They need better protection outside of that. And Don can't help
when
with
we
that.
shot that episode about Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, I said you need somebody better than 25, 5,
At the end of the day,
you have
Donovan Mitchell. At the end of the day, Donovan Mitchell has almost everything he needs to become a superstar, but he just needs a little bit more work on his back, and he'll be there, and they'll be in the conference finals in no time.
He needs to stop choking in the playoffs, giving up 3-1 leads and 2-0 leads. He sound like Doc Rivers. Him and Doc Rivers need to team up.
No, if anybody's
Doc Rivers and Donovan Mitchell.
all team frauds, it will be Paul George, Ben Simmons, Rudy Gobert, and
Doc Rivers will be the coach.
Ben Simmons.
And Donovan Mitchell coming off the bench?
No.
Where's he at?
Don's not on there. Don is the state coming of Dwayne Wade. We're not doing it.
Bro, stop. Please stop. We seen what D Wade did his first finals appearance. And how young was he when he made it?
Oh, we gotta give him more time. He's only 26.
I don't know how old D Wade was. D Wade was what? 20, I think he was 24, 25.
We have to give him more time, right?
I'm just saying, with Donovan Mitchell, if he's the second coming of D Wade, let's see it. D Wade put on in the playoffs.
And you're right, Donovan do need more time. You just can't come in.
I was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Right. How much
No,
more
but
time
listen. At the end of the day, basketball is not always going to rely on the one guy. It has to make sense team wise. All I'm saying is that Donovan Mitchell, you keep Rudy Gobert
all season, even through injury.
I understand that, but like I said, the playoffs are different. For example, I didn't see the Hawks freaking get bounced the first round after being the first seed. Like, we're not gonna do this. The playoffs are different. They're a different beast. And certain players are good for it, and certain players ain't.
If I gave most of the players that we named,
Donnie is, Rudy ain't. That's what I'm saying. And Ben ain't either. And neither is Paul George. He's gonna freaking choke anytime now. I'm just waiting for it to happen.
We're blaming a defensive player of the year for Donovan Mitchell losing. Like, what are we doing? Paul George made no excuse. He elevated.
Stiggs, I have a question.
Donovan Mitchell has not.
Stiggs, I have a question.
Don't do that.
I just have a question.
Okay.
Overall, in the past 4 years of Paul George's career, do you think he has played like an absolute bona fide superstar?
Yes. No question.
Superstar is not just about what you've done, like you leading your team. Superstar caliber is all around. No, I know, but superstar is all around. So that's what you're doing as far as endorsement wise. When we talk about the NBA, we talking about you. Those are the superstars. It's only like 7 superstars.
A lot of people say, if to be a superstar, you have to at least have a shoe deal.
Paul
George got one of those.
A superstar, like I said, he was once upon a time a superstar, but his play over the last 4 seasons has bumped him
Did he get a
down
max contract?
off his name.
Yeah,
off his name.
But you said it's the NBA, notoriety, publicity, all that.
Listen. This is what I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna actually respect Paul George when I say this.
I doubt it.
Paul George is, I think, given his numbers in the regular season and given his numbers probably for the playoffs, I don't know what he's averaging in the playoffs, but given his numbers for the playoffs, I would consider him superstar right now.
Are you drunk yet?